Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to We're Offended, You're Offended, the podcast. I'm Kim. This is Tyler, and it is Wednesday. Hump day. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. I totally almost did the Friday. I just stopped myself for a sec there. So, hope everyone's had a good week so far. Today, I was at work, and oh, okay, we're doing the Chinese thing up there, are you? Oh, I should have said that. You know, the Chinese
No, I'm
dubbing?
not drowning my daughter in a bathtub.
No, that's not what I
Why
meant.
would you say such a thing?
That's not what I meant. I meant that.
Oh, you mean
dubbing.
cultural genocide?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
I'm going to
I
mute
thought
you
you
right
meant
away.
genocide.
I'm going to mute you. Yeah. Anyway, so I went to work today and I was greeted by somebody telling me that they're like, oh, I feel so naked. Well, why do you feel naked? And she was all, because we don't have to wear masks anymore. And I was like, fuck yeah. And I ripped my mask right off my face. And I said that so loud. My coworkers kind of looked at me and started laughing. Oh, it was fantastic. I felt like I could breathe today. And one of my other coworkers,
It doesn't help being fat.
shut up. Anyway, fucking asshole. No, it doesn't help, okay? Anyway, so one of my other coworkers, she was sitting there and she literally had the biggest smile on her face all day long. And somebody had made a comment. They're like, my God, like you've been smiling all day. She's like, I know, I can't stop. She's like, I finally can take those stupid masks off. She's like, you have no idea how excited I am. But it was actually kind of surprised. So with here in Manitoba, for anyone who's listening that's not from here, we just got our mask restriction lifted as of yesterday. And
oh yeah, the 15th. Yeah, that's
yes.
right.
So I was actually quite surprised I had to do a little bit of running around today after work, that I was quite surprised how many people are actually still wearing masks. And even coming into the office today, like you'd have some people, but a huge chunk of people were still wearing masks. I'd say about at least a good 60, 70% were still wearing masks. And then you had the few who weren't. And it was the same within the office. Some were wearing masks, some weren't. But it was just so nice when I came around the corner and I got to see my coworkers' faces. I just sat there all creepy like on the corner and I was like, oh, it's so nice to see all your faces. I haven't seen their face in like years. It's nice.
See, in the States, it's totally different. It's actually like a free country, not fucking Kanakistan like it is here.
I don't know
where,
what that means.
Everyone. Kanakistan?
No,
or freedom. Yeah, I know. What a fucking joke. Well, to be fair, the last bastions of freedom are currently under attack. So let's so obviously in Florida they passed the, as the Democrats, as the leftists, as the woke keyboard warriors called it, the Don't Say Gay bill. Did you hear about that?
I did hear a little bit, but I definitely know one thing, something that's not actually in the bill. So that was kind of interesting, and why they decided to call it what they did, I guess we're going to find out, hopefully.
But the thing is, it's not even called that. It's called the Parental Rights and Education. That's what the bill is called. So it's really weird that these bunch of homos are sitting here bitching and moaning about stuff. It's like they're getting ridden by fucking dildos. I don't get it.
Well, what I don't get is like, we're going to get more into it and you're going to explain more to me because I didn't go into a lot of it. But what I don't understand is that for something that's called the Don't Say Gay bill, and you literally see a bunch of people walking around saying gay, 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 gay. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
I know.
That's not even in it. Like, it makes no sense to me.
This is the typical thing. So the older and older I've gotten, I'm not getting any younger, I have noticed the more and more people react on emotion. People make a knee-jerk reaction. So you have this Don't Say Gay. Oh, they're banning gay people? Oh, that's terrible. And then they the keyboard warrior without actually looking into anything. And then they spout off some stupid shit without actually looking at any information. So like you had the Ukrainian prime minister is saying, blood is on your hands, Canada, for not helping us. How about fuck you? How about this isn't our fight?
How are we not helping though? From what I understood, like, you know, they've sent lots of money to them. So how is that not helping?
Well,
What do they want?
money and equipment in aid relief. And, to be fair, I don't support I understand the plight of the people. Yes, we should look at helping the people. But I don't want to rehash this whole thing. But it's playing on people's emotions. Emotions make people irrational. But so we're gonna get into the Don't Say Gay bill, and we're actually gonna look at what the bill says. Spoiler alert, has nothing to do with unpersoning or depersoning gay people. It's a very reasonable bill, and actually a very important bill, especially with online interaction, with social media, with all this woke shit that's going on. And we're going to actually look at how pervasive and the ideology that is behind all of this. And then we're going to look at what Canada is deciding to do. I'll tell you right now, it is literally putting anti-racism, not don't be racist, anti-racism, which is actively racism. I know, oxymoron. It makes no sense. I know you hear it and you go, how can you be, how is anti-racist racist? We'll explain that a little bit more, because the thing is, there's so much information and the ideology and the teachings and all these, it becomes overwhelming because you keep having to have the same argument over and over. But so we're going to look at Bill C-67 in Ontario. This is now going through its second reading, which means it's past the first reading. They approved this for the first reading. They're looking at number 2. So Ford, oh shit, whoops. But before we get into that, of course, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we are on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify. We're on social medias, on Twitter, where I tell people that they have small PP energy.
It really does.
A tip my fedora, because I got blocked by Jack, or we got blacked. I got blacked. Fuck it, I'm going with it. I got blacked by Jack Murphy because I said Jack Murphy is back on the grift. I didn't even say anything bad. I didn't say he's like a piece of shit human being. I didn't say that, he's a cuck or whatever. I just said he's back on the grift.
Are you kidding? He probably, if he's seen that, he probably checked out our profile, seen one of the videos is that we just posted about Jack Murphy, and he's probably like, fuck that shit, block. Which I'm going to say, though, I think it's kind of cool that we got blocked by him.
Small PP energy, Mr. Murphy, or Goldman, if that is your real name. But all right, so hit that like button if you're on YouTube. Hit the Rumble button on Spotify. Leave us a review if you want to see my penis. Just joking. You're not gonna. It's tucked between my legs. Okay.
Before I don't know if this is coming through for you guys. I'm noticing I'm a little laggy right now, and I'm not really sure why. But if I'm a little delayed, sorry about that. I'm going to blame the country internet. But also, I wanted to say thank you to the truckers and the Freedom Convoy, because aside from what anybody else is going to tell you about the fact that the mandates got lifted because, they were planning on doing it anyway and blah, 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 blah. No. I think largely a lot of the mandates were being lifted and have been lifted because of the truckers. So even though things got misconstrued and people were blaming them and accusing them for a bunch of stuff, to anybody out there who is a truck driver or knows a truck driver, honestly, give them my sincerest thank you, because it's because of them that I got to go to work today without a mask. So thank you. Carry on.
I don't think that's how it works, but okay. Um, okay, so the Florida "Don't Say Gay" bill, and this is plastered everywhere over all types of news. We're saying "Don't say gay." Oh, they're depersoning people. They're they're removing my ability to exist. They're saying I don't exist. It's weird because that's not what the bill says at all. But I love the framing. But so I let's just play this stupid fucking video.
So
I
all three of
hate
them
this
have a gay
world.
daughter? Is that it? Like I okay.
Oh, is that what those dumb broads
That's what it
said?
sounds like it's saying gay, 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 my daughter's gay. That's what it sounds like they're saying. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like to me anyway.
The funny thing is, the top comment from Scott Pressler. If you don't know who Scott Pressler is, he was the gay man, which no one. Well, you when you hear him talking, you kind of see he acts a little feminine, but he was the same guy that went to like Baltimore. He organized all these cleanups in poorer neighborhoods to make them look nice. And the top comment: as a gay man, I take full responsibility for registering hundreds of new Republican voters in Florida and training thousands of volunteers. He is he is gay as fuck. So it's okay. So this was being pushed, all over the news. Oh, why are they blocking gay people? Why do they hate gay people? Why is Florida is doing all this stuff against gay people?
Which I'm
No,
gonna say, like that it really wouldn't make a lot of sense to me. Like when it first came out, and again, I don't know anything about it. I'm gonna find it out with you guys if you guys don't know about it. But for me, it didn't make any sense that they would have something called a "Don't Say Gay" bill, especially when literally they're pushing the bajillion genders and all this other stuff and doing the things that they are. Why would all of a sudden they be like, "Ah, don't say gay"? Like that makes no sense.
well, and so if you want to look at the bill, so we have the bill here. It's HB 1557, the House Senate bill, I believe is what they call it. Yeah, HB 1557. So, in accordance with the rights of parents enumerated in subsection one, blah blah blah, adopt procedures for no. So this is what the law is actually going to be. Adopt procedures for notifying a student's parent if there is a change in the student's services or monitoring relating to the student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being, and the school's ability to provide a safe and supportive learning environment for the student. So they're already saying if there is a sudden change in a teenager's or in a young person's mind, you think a parent should have that right?
100%.
Like if the school said, "Hey, the oldest one, he's showing a lot of really bad. He doesn't look well. Like his attitude is completely flipped. He seems, distraught. He seems like he's suffering from like some type of massive anxiety."
Yeah.
Well, the schools are not psychologists. That's what a psychologist or a psychiatrist is for, is to help someone work through this so that we don't find little Billy or Susie hanging from a fucking ceiling fan.
Well, which is why it's also important for parents to know these things because unfortunately, there are a lot of parents who miss things. I mean, I've been um commended, I think is the right word, by
Mhm.
people for noticing things about our kids and catching them and whatever because a lot of parents don't really take that time to look and make sure things that they're doing are safe and talk to them about it. So I think something like this would be really good because unfortunately with the way that the world is and how busy people are, parents sometimes miss things. And it's not that they're doing something wrong, it's just sometimes they miss it. So having those extra set of eyes on them, and maybe noticing things because, some kids are different when they're in school than they are at home, right? So if someone comes up to you and like, "Hey, I have a couple concerns, like this is what's going on," like just letting you know, maybe keep an eye out for it or whatever. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Well, and so, okay, so to continue with the bill. So the procedures must reinforce the fundamental right of the parents to make decisions regarding the upbringing and control of their child or children by requiring school district personnel to encourage a student to discuss issues relating to his or her well-being. Oh shit, they said his or her. Sorry, they didn't say zer and z, they are fucking whatever stupid shit.
Oh, snap.
Or her well-being with his or her parent, or to facilitate discussion of the issue with the parent. The procedures may not prohibit parents from accessing any of their students' education. So you've seen a lot during COVID. Teachers were saying, I don't want their parents to see what we're teaching their students. How many times did that come up? And when teachers or parents finally seen what the teachers were teaching, they said, what the fuck is this? What are we doing here? Like, why are you teaching, transgender ideology or sexual orientation to a 5-year-old? Why did
Yeah.
we have Pete Buttigieg telling a bunch of young kids to pledge allegiance to a gay flag?
I can't believe how entertained by herself she was when we watched that video. Like just how I'm so proud of myself. Look what I did, guys. Like it's just so sad.
Well, no, Pete Buttigieg is a gay guy.
Okay, but remember
Buttigieg.
the video that we showed a couple podcasts
Oh, the
ago or
one with
whatever.
really bad teeth?
I
The one
don't
that,
know.
like,
That Burnett teacher or whatever, and she was talking about how she used to have the flag up, but then they took it down because of whatever, and she just never put it back up again. And then, oh, but I did put this flag up. And it was like gay flag, and I'm just like,
oh,
really?
well,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm talking about at all, but okay, I understand. But okay, so the procedures may not prohibit parents from accessing. Okay, we already read that. A school district may not adopt procedures or student support forms that prohibit school district personnel from notifying a parent about his or her student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well being, or a change in related services or monitoring, or that encourage or have the effect of encouraging a student to withhold from a parent such information. So there were forms that were sent out to some students saying, what would you like to be called? What is your sexual orientation? And I will not share this with your parent. Or teachers were actively encouraging students to don't tell your parent this.
Or
That is fucking wrong.
yeah, or that one teacher that was like, oh, well, my student said this, and I'm not going to tell the parents because blah 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 blah. And it's like, why would you keep something like that?
Well, it's because leftist ideology. Tyler, I hear you ask, why would you say leftist? Oh, we'll get into that. We will get into that. But okay, so you can see like the whole bill is here. I don't need to kind of continue on with it, but they cannot. So I'll say this: any teacher, any teaching facility, any institution that is for education, especially as a public service, you're a mouthpiece for the government. We grant you that ability to educate our children, and we can withdraw that ability or that power at any time we feel necessary. We have that right, and we have that ability to do so. So this is why you should be getting involved in parent-teacher or school board meetings. I try to look into this stuff. Man, is it a son of a bitch to find, because what their curriculum shows is very different from what is actually taught.
Of course.
And that is a problem. That is a big problem. Because yeah, I'm sure I could agree with the curriculum on most things. But what do they have in, they have in mathematics where it's like, Tyrone, who is black, is arrested 30 times by the police in 1 year. Tyson, who is white, is arrested 3 times per year. How many times more is Tyrone arrested by the police than Tyson? It's those subtle types of things, and it's the implementation of this stuff.
Yeah.
So bring an action against the school district to obtain a declaratory judgment that the school district procedure or practice violates this paragraph. So, if a parent is notified or becomes aware that a school is violating this law, that school district would be charged. They could be fined. A court may award damages and shall award reasonable attorney fees and court costs to a parent who receives a declaratory or injunctive relief. Each school district shall adopt policies to notify parents of the procedures required under this subparagraph. Nothing contained in this subparagraph shall be construed to abridge or alter rights of action or remedies in equity already existing under the common law or general law. Nowhere in this does it say gay. Nowhere in this does it say gay people are bad. Nowhere does it say. It just says, oh, okay, so right here. Request the Commissioner of Education to appoint a special magistrate. I'm line 131 right now. Sorry, I am kind of jumping all over the place, but
yeah.
But the thing is, it's from 5-year-olds to grade 8. They're saying you need to adhere to the fucking laws, to the curriculum that you are mandated to teach. I don't want your opinion, because we had a problem with one of the teachers at our kids' school saying, oh, the trucker convoy, they're just a bunch of terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, fuckface, I grant you that power. Those are not your children. Last I checked, they're my kids. So I can at any time, government mouthpiece, withdraw and tell you to shut the fuck up. It's as easy as that. I can tell you to shut the fuck up. It's not the other way around. You are a mouthpiece for the state. Yeah. That is your job. That is all you are good for. You are to be used at my expense and tossed aside like old fucking trash.
Well, that seems a little harsh to any of the actual teachers who are potentially watching this, but
I don't fucking care.
I know you don't. But what I'm saying is that it's not... Okay, this is the curriculum that you're supposed to adhere to. So this is the curriculum that has been put into plan and people have agreed upon. Now, putting in your own agenda into things and your own views and teaching those to kids or pushing them on kids, that's not okay. Like, it's not up to you to decide to start pushing your views and what things you believe is right. Follow the curriculum, do your job. That's all.
Yeah. And it's a crazy thing that laws have to be put in place to protect children from groomers. That is unbelievable to me, because that is what it's becoming. You have drag queen story hour or whatever, or where you have transgender identity fucking strip dancing or whatever stupid shit they try to push this stuff onto kids. Or you see some of the books in elementary schools about trying to, as a child, to how to masturbate.
So wrong.
Like I'm quite the libertarian. I'm quite the progressive person. What this is not progressive. This is communist. But again, I hear you, Tyler. How could you say that? I bring receipts. Come on, baby. Kim. I got receipts.
Yeah, you do.
I don't say this shit just because I like to self-flatulate.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think
that's farting. Flatulate?
Well,
I like to suck my own dick.
Yes, you do. You like to do that, but also you bring
Can't,
receipts.
I'm too fat. I'm too fat.
You stroke it then. You You're like, good boy. Are you home yet?
Creepy.
I'm missing my
I'm
husband,
close.
people. Okay.
I'm close.
And it is hump day, so
Okay, so we're gonna have to take a little bit of a segue. Well, we're on the all right, things are getting back to normal road. Now we're gonna take a hard right into fucking gay town.
sweet.
Well, not gay town. It's more like dystopian communist town.
You know what would be? Oh,
But I repeat myself.
okay. Well, I don't want to go there. When you said gay town,
What?
I literally was envisioning to anybody out there who's seen Tu Wong Fu, but in the end, when they they
I
made
don't even know what
over.
that is.
Oh my god, you don't know what Tu Wong Fu is? It is like the
It sounds
best
really
movie ever.
racist.
It's really not. It's got um oh my god, Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and Jean Leguizamo. They're all drag queens, and they all end up in this really small hick town that's very anti stuff like that. And they in the very end, like the way that they put on this big anybody who's watched it knows what I'm talking about. But that big celebration at the end when he said Gay Town, that's where I went. Fuck yeah. It is a fantastic. I can't believe you've never seen that movie. I got to school you. I got that
Oh,
movie. It was a
no.
fantastic movie.
Well, okay, so maybe we can well, okay. So but the thing is, movies today suck.
Yeah,
They
this is an
really
old movie though.
they really suck. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like old movies, they had a message in them. Like it was even if you looked at like, yeah, I know it's nerdy. Okay, I get it's nerdy. I don't watch all the Star Wars. I watched 3. I didn't watch what are they up to? 12 and then all the offshoots and all this other lame shit.
If you could, you probably would
What?
have. I'm just saying.
No. 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 The first 3, like not the actual first 3, like the first 3 that came first, not the first 3 or not the 3 that came in chronological order.
I
You know
knew
what I
what you
mean?
meant. Like the first 3
The
original
middle.
movies, not the prequels. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you can see like there is a story, there's that hero's journey, starting from humble beginnings and working hard and progressing. And I don't think people like that. People are yearning for that. We brought up like Squid Game. You've seen the evolution of the characters, and the people you wanted to win, maybe they didn't. And the people you wanted to lose, maybe they didn't. But you could see that dynamic shifting and evolving.
Yeah.
But so like, with Star Wars, you've seen that development, the progression of a character, from a lowly farmer on where the fuck was he? Dagobah, right? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I'm
You're
not
the nerd watching
I'm
this
not
shit. And the funny thing is, I've seen more
uh,
of the movies than you have, apparently, but you just remember the shit.
yeah, but okay, so he's on some shitty dirt farm town, and then he becomes a great, well, not a leader, but he becomes an influential part in trying to overthrow the empire. But
Yeah.
the movies today is they're perfect, they have no flaws. If it's a woman, that's the sad thing. If it's a woman, they're brave and powerful, and there's no wrong. They're, the Mary Sues. They are perfect because they're perfect. So you have nothing to relate to. Are you perfect?
Yeah. Have you seen
All
me?
right.
Of course I'm perfect. No.
All right. No. But that's a lot of what it is the woman is perfect, the guys are seen as dumb, bumbling fools. And it's hacky, like MacGuffin or stupid coincidence. Like these things need to happen in such a perfect, convoluted order for the movie to make sense. Otherwise, it would never happen. Because if you actually sat and thought, you'd go, "This is stupid. This sucks," and then you turn it off. So it's just like they keep throwing stuff at you.
Well,
so that you don't think.
well, yeah, and that's the same even with a lot of with a lot of comedies, it's a lot of the stupid humor, right? It's just like joke after joke after joke after joke, and sometimes it doesn't even have any relevance to where they're throwing in the joke to the actual movie or the dialogue of what's happening. Then you have with scary movies, a lot of it is just that jump scare, just scare, 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 and it's
Yeah.
oh okay, but there's no actual storyline to it. It's just being scared nonstop. And those just aren't that entertaining. Like, yeah, okay, you get a good a jump and you laugh at everybody for getting scared and okay, well, woo, it's done. They're not like the movies that you actually remember. And like one that we've
Yeah.
mentioned a few times, like The Platform, or another good movie that we watched, which was a
Well,
phenomenal
that wasn't
movie.
scary.
Well, no, but it's just a movie, like regardless. But another good movie that we watched was a movie called Split. That was a phenomenal movie, and the actor in that
Oh, that was
is
the split personality disorder thing.
yeah. And did you know that movie was actually based off of a real person?
Oh God.
Yeah.
What you mean like a pre-K teacher? Is that like based off of like a kindergarten teacher? Because that's the requirement you need now.
Split personalities?
Oh fuck yeah!
I guess
You
so.
need to be gender fluid and
Yeah.
all this other shit, and a man like a bearded man in a woman's dress, and you wear makeup. So
No,
you pretty much you have to be a teacher.
I guess so. But no, this was actually based off of a real person who had 24 different personalities. And he only had a certain amount that were there all the time. And then there were some that were they pushed back. And
I
apparent
I could. I'm sure there's a lot of people with gender study degrees go only 24.
probably. Well, see, and that's literally a comparison that I've made before. I'm like, it sounds like people have split personality,
Yeah,
like, and you're,
it's a serious mental illness.
I
But no,
know.
that's fine. Let's put them in charge of our children. Let's put them in positions of authority. Even though teachers union, you can go fly off a fucking roof for all I care. I think you're terrible. You're terrible. You're terrible. You're washed up, kid.
All right. Anyway, let's carry on with this, shall we?
With what?
Whatever you
Oh,
got going
okay.
on next here. I don't know, because yeah, that was just my story. I said that movie was actually based off of a real person. Now, the real person obviously didn't have the same things as the character in the movie Split had in the end, like the incredible strength and stuff like that. It was just literally based off of the person who had these multiple personalities and same types of characters and stuff like that. And yeah, so I just thought it was kind of interesting that it was actually based off of a real person.
Well, and then, like that movie was really good in showing the kind of the transition between them. And like you said, there was what was the last one? The Beast.
Yeah,
Was that was the one where he was all
that he was.
fucking.
Yeah, he was, like, all jacked up and, like, super strong and stuff, but, I mean, that was one of the characters that they were all trying to hold in, and then he ended up coming out. But
Great
that
movie, by the way.
that actor, they could not have picked a better person, like, the way that he literally went from character to character, you would swear that he really did have split personality, and he could just, like, on a drop of a dime, switch characters the way that he did. He did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and to say like it's one thing to like because in those situations, like in as an actor, obviously I'm an expert in being an actor.
Obviously.
Uh, but those people, you have to develop that character in your own head. Like I'm sure he probably has notes like this character, is timid, kind, has these traits, and you kind of build a character on this piece of paper, and then he had to like go through them. The beast is powerful, unwavering, illogical, rash, like the shit like that.
Well, yeah, they
Or
have
I mean, ones in between, and all the ones in between. Like there was that very timid, very meek and mild, like kid. There was that
there was
little
a kid.
kid,
Yeah.
and then there was yeah,
There was
and then there
women.
was the
Mhm.
yeah. So
I mean, yeah, it's different, not only different names, it's different voices, it's different accents, it's completely different
mannerisms.
body mannerisms. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going. And it was
Yeah.
just, yeah, he did such an amazing job. And you've seen how some movies, well, not some movies, but some actors and actresses, when they play certain roles, like it actually messes them up. Like the
Yeah.
girl, um, I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head, but the girl from The Exorcist, she ended up in a psych ward for a long time after that. Johnny Depp had a hard time letting go of Jack Sparrow. Um, Heath Ledger, the Joker, took a really big
Oh,
bad toll on him, and he ended up taking a lot of medication and stuff like that because it really messed with his head. Like they get so immersed into these roles and have to become these people that unfortunately it kind of like messes you up a little bit. So
yeah. No, and it's like, and that's the thing. Those powerful, those performances are memorable. When you don't see Joaquin Phoenix, you see the Joker. Like that. That is not Heath or like Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix. Like
yeah,
you see a different person, and a 100% different person.
yeah,
So even like Johnny Depp, he's quite timid.
yeah.
Like he can put on that performance, but him himself, he's a very not a rec or not a recluse, but he doesn't command a room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't walk into a room, say like, you know what, get mad at me now. Say like someone like Donald Trump, when he walks into a room, he commands a certain type of presence.
Yeah.
I'm sure Johnny Depp does, but that's because of his celebrity, not because of, the type of person that he is.
Yeah.
So, but as Jack Sparrow, yeah, he's kind of bumbling and quirky and on all this type of shit. And
And he definitely demands the room. He walks into it, it's just like, "I am here."
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the character, yeah, that character Jack Sparrow can control a room and move it. But
Yeah.
okay, um, so I've been doing a lot of research, listening to a lot of talks. I have books that I read, or should I say I listen to. And so I was thinking, why was there such a large pushback? What is going on, especially with this bill C-61 out of Ontario? In New Brunswick, how they have the department or the commissioner of or the Ministry of Diversity and Equity or whatever stupid shit they have. And I'm looking and I'm trying to understand why. I am a seeker. Oh God, I feel like fucking Jack Murphy. That was the first thing out of his letter was I am a seeker. But I am a student that wants to learn. I have a natural interest in why are things the way they are. That's just naturally how I am. So I seek that information and I'll try to consume as much as I can. Like I said, I don't know too much about the philosophies of Aristotle and all this shit. Well, I got a bunch of books on it, on philosophy. So now that is what I am learning. So all this stuff comes back, and you see the Democrats, you see, the Liberal Party in Canada, you see the NDP, you see a lot of these talking points of racialized communities. You see things of, we need to have more equity, anti-racism. That one terrifies the fuck out of me. Anti-racism. Because that is littered through this bill in Ontario. Anti-racism training, anti-racism certification, anti-racism, all this. We'll get into it.
Okay,
That should be.
I was just gonna say maybe you should explain a little bit as to the difference between being not racist and being anti-racist for anybody who may not know, because for you saying like anti-racist, it's all over the place and it's bad, people are gonna be like, well, how is that a bad thing? Do you know what I mean? Like unless they can actually
Right.
understand. So maybe, yeah.
Right. Okay. So hold on to that. Hold on to the thought of anti-racism. So we're going to look at a few things, and I've been listening to some of the talks from James Lindsay. He does a fantastic way of breaking this type of information and this belief system down. So I wanted to look at what is CRT? What is critical race theory? Well, it's based off of the same idea of critical theory, which is a neo-Marxist type of ideology. It is a communist ideology. So just simply, what is Marxist or what is CRT? It's a neo-Marxist conspiracy theory, a belief system founded that the fundamental organizing principle of society is racism, created by white people for the benefit of white people. Racism and systemic racism is the fundamentals. So everything has to be seen through the lens of race. And so if you are white, how does my privilege or how does my position as a white cis man or a white cis woman or a white man or woman in society, how does this interaction coincide or how is this influenced by my race? Most of the people who are in or participate in the conspiracy don't know they, you autocorrect, fuck me. No, they are. Most of the people who are in or participate in the conspiracy don't know they are.
Yeah, what? No, that doesn't make sense.
What the fuck did I write here? Don't know they are, comma. I guess it should be, well, because it's the idea of you don't even know that you are part of this system. You're so unaware of it. So most of the people who participate in the conspiracy don't know they are. I'll just say, what, designed? No, they are. And designed it to keep minorities down. So I think that would be a fair statement. So privilege and power are systems of oppression. So people, like, if white people built the Western society, well, we have a privilege, and privilege influences everything. So we need to oppress minorities, which I find really weird because you think if white people have such privilege, why are there more white people in poverty than black people in poverty? Like, you're pretty arrogant to think that you benefit from white privilege. And then you're going to go live next to a black person or a minority? You arrogant son of a bitch.
Yeah, I wanted to fit in.
So it is a theory with an activist element. This is the only theory that I can think of. Please, I'm sure there's something, but a theory, which is just supposed to be a working thought, that has an activist element. So, the globies don't have an activist element where you need to infiltrate and constantly be pushing people to convert to globism, where you push the conspiracy that the earth is round. There isn't, well, I get, and even in religions, there's the same type of idea of pushing an ideology. It is a lifelong work.
So hold on, the conspiracy is that the earth is round, not the conspiracy is the earth is flat?
Well, I'm saying someone that believes that the earth is round. So in scientific theory, that the earth is actually round. A theory is very different than I think what people typically think what a theory is. Because when you think, well, I have a theory that the lights turn on. Okay, but the theory would be, well, we're able to understand that electrons moving through wire, as they travel through, they end up generating light out of filament, which then creates heat, which emits light. That would be the theory of how a light bulb works. So it's actually a substantiated piece of information that is tested through rigors. Careful, through rigors to validate that initial hypothesis. Did I use too big of words for you?
Well, I should have Kevin heard you. But I don't know if you actually like watch our videos after, but every single time you use a word I don't understand, I put up this to anybody who's looking. Every single time. I put up the Kevin Hart picture. You're throwing too many big words at me. Now, because I don't understand them, I'm going to take them as disrespect. Every time.
Okay. All right. So this is a theory that has an activist element. You need to keep pushing it. You need to infiltrate institutions to proliferate, to increase its exposure. So with CRT, it's using racial minorities, women, feminists, sexual minorities, and radical outsiders of society, along with a leftist intelligentsia. Think critical theorists. Building a movement using that radical energy to put into practice, also known as praxis, to enact repressive tolerance and a two-dimensional sensibility. What the fuck? Repressive tolerance? What the hell does that mean? So, fortunately, I have a definition. So, repressive tolerance is the movements from the left must be extended tolerance, even if violent. So, a leftist ideology must be given grace. Think of, the year riots of George Floyd. Think of the BLM protest. Think of when Justin Trudeau went to go meet them, they were extended tolerance, even if violent. Think, mostly peaceful protests. Oh, this is the voice of the unheard.
Did you hear
this
that?
Is what happens. What, your eyes roll? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to continue on, movements from the right must not be extended tolerance, even to the point of censoring and pre-censoring. So, think of the Proud Boys protests, where it's the same thing. They're just protesting, right? Where they said, BLM protests actually lowered COVID rates, while Trump rallies raised COVID rates. So,
isn't that something that COVID just absolutely loves the Trumpies? It was just attracted to all the Trump people, the Trump supporters. It's just so remarkable.
I know. Well, and so this is where you see the repressive tolerance. This is all CRT. This is critical theory. This is neo-Marxism. This is communism. This is communism. This is literally communism. And again, I hear you. But Tyler, how can you say this is communist? I'm ready. Get your drinks ready. I bring receipts. Okay, so I'll say that again. Movements from the right must not be extended tolerance, even to the point of censoring and pre-censoring, so that even the thoughts preserving the status quo cannot enter the mind. Think Theresa Tam saying, "We need to stop wrongthink."
But see, that's just what mind baffles me, because in this thing they're saying people on the left-hand side or on the left side, whatever. You know what I'm saying. People on the left, this is my left. They're right, and it doesn't matter if they're violent or whatever. We have to give them tolerance. But the people on the right, even if they're not violent, we must attack. We must censor them down. That is some fucked up shit.
Well, and to continue with this next sentence here. So they feel leftist idea is already censored, so they feel they can retaliate.
Oh, hell no.
Well, but the thing is, we don't want this stuff. Most people do not want to live in a communist society. I might be stepping out on a ledge, but every time I see communism, I see a lot of fucking dead bodies. Like it's incredible when you see like the posts on Twitter. Oh, if there was a communist, if I lived in communism, I would be able to enjoy my wonderful farm and all this stuff. And the responses you see is your farm?
Right? Are you kidding
It's
me?
our farm.
Not us. You've got
Okay.
nothing, baby. You got nothing.
Yeah. No. You think you're gonna go produce art? Oh no 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 no. You're gonna go be digging up rocks. You're gonna be like those kids that make Tesla's batteries and digging up cobalt with sticks.
Damn it. I don't want to do that again.
Okay, and so to continue. So it divides and polarizes groups and attempts to pull those sympathetic to the cause into the group. It uses whiteness as a pejorative, as a negative trait. Think white privilege or a race traitor, or as I was wonderfully called, white adjacent from a ginger fucking soulless prick. If fucking go start a fucking shotgun for all I care. So he's a communist. Sorry, Scott, you're a communist. Okay, so let's oh okay. So we can move on to the next part here. So it is a move toward a capitalist liberation. Well, what does that mean? So the idea that capitalism suppresses the libido and twists it into productive work. So think they take all those traits of desire. So I guess to continue with the next sentence. So liberating those desires in the sex, fun, and bliss. Sex, fun. I need to fix that. Sex, fun, bliss, and interest of the suppression or from the suppression of productive work. So you repress all those feelings of, the things that you want to do, the things that you enjoy. You say, oh, well, they see it as capitalism has suppressed those feelings. So we need to be liberated from the capitalist society. A product rooted in cultural Marxists removing the capitalist drive. Think of like the sexual liberation movement was used to almost destroy Hungary. Or you can think in North America, think of that sexy sex ed with those land whales trying to groom children.
In Kentucky?
Think of the hypersexualization of children.
Yeah.
Like Cuties, which Netflix is actually being sued for. They have 4 felony charges.
Oh my.
4 felonies for that movie because it is actually sexual exploitation of children.
I never actually watched it. Like I heard so much of it. I saw a preview for it and that was enough. I was like, I ain't watching this shit.
So all this type of stuff, the sexual liberation movement in like the 60s, the 70s, all that stuff, that is all based in queer theory, which is kind of an offshoot of critical theory. But I'm not going to get into that. Marx wanted to create a dictatorship of the proletariat that would usher in a transition called socialism and eventually go to communism. So the proletariat is the working class, where the working class are in control of everything. Communism. CRT wants to create a dictatorship of the anti-racist. So you think Marxist is critical theory. Well, all you need to do is put critical race theory in there, and now you have the whole ideology more or less explained. There is a lot more to it. Trust me. I would encourage you, go listen to the there's some fantastic stuff from James Lindsay. He's been talking about this stuff quite a bit, and he's kind of exposing how deep rooted this is. And this bill out of Ontario is the newest attempt to bring down capitalism, bring down democracy in a North American country.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, like critical race theory and this whole anti-racist movement is based upon Marxism. And
Yeah.
Marxism, or Marx, who
Yeah.
is the person who
Karl
created
Marx.
Marxism,
Yeah. Karl Marx, yeah.
What they were trying to do was to eventually come to an end of communism. So
Capitalism.
they're teaching these things. They're
Or,
saying,
or their end goal is
yeah,
communism.
yeah,
They
that's what I
think
meant. The end.
capitalism is a blight on the world.
Yeah. So now they're
Do you not like
so
do you
now
not see that like everywhere now?
yeah. So now they're like they're teaching these things and pushing these things, and literally it's written in black and white that this person's end game was communism, and these are the kind of things that they are putting into play right now.
Yeah. So if we look at the next one, so these are the pillars of CRT. So these are the types of ideologies that they want to push. These are the types of things that they need to do. Although I do need to So if you want to look at see, I know this is a word, but I cannot find the actual definition of it. I'm looking for the exact definition of epistemology. I my assumption would be is the study of history, but you get histology. I would assume that is the study of history. I don't want I know I'm pretty sure epistemology. I I can't find it. I cannot find the definition of it, and I know it's a word. That's what I
You're for
find
sure it's a
crazy.
word?
Maybe it's histe. Maybe there's an e.
Yeah, but then Google would correct it. It would be like, "Did you mean?"
Ep-
And it keeps going to histology.
oh, epistemology, the study or a theory of nature and grounds of knowledge, especially with reference to its limits and validity. That doesn't sound right. I know epistemology, or maybe that's how you say. No, that's not. Okay, well, anyways, so these are some of the pillars. So belief that racism is ordinary and permanent in society. So you see, think of this in terms of almost like a religion, because it is. Belief that racism is ordinary. So white people perpetrate racism day in and day out, even if they don't know that they're doing it. Material determinism by racial category. So that would be like, well, black people should be entitled to this. White people should be entitled to this. Asian, this type of, sexual minority. Gay people should get this. Social construction and imposition of racial categories. Gender or race is a social construct. So these are ideas perpetrated by whiteness. A unique voice of color. And that's where it says standpoint epistemology. I would assume that is the idea that your voice, because of your skin color, gives you a unique perspective that no one else would be able to understand. My assumption would be something to the effect of my truth or my lived experience. They advance their ideas through narrative weaving, stories, and counter stories, as opposed to logic and rational thought. So I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. Historical revisionism. So if you could think of something like the 1619 Project, which says that the U.S. was actually created in 1619 by black people and the white man came and took it. Or police being slave catchers before they were morphed into the police. So they have racist roots, but they completely leave out slave catchers and police are worlds apart. Like they're not the same thing. They aren't even like it's not like the slave catchers morphed into the police. They're two separate things.
Actually, I have a little interesting factoid about jails and slaves after. Just remind me after you finish doing this.
Okay. So a profound critique of liberalism and the foundation of the liberal order. So obviously, liberalism is the idea of individual rights, of limited government, and rights are inalienable. They come from, well, there's, as they say, it comes from God. They're granted from God, and no one can violate them. No man can violate those. And by man, I mean man and woman. Okay, relax. Whiteness is a form of property, which the liberal order is focused on property rights. So that is how we tend to view things. That, this house is mine. Well, they could say, well, whiteness is a form of property. You could think of, the ideas of being on time is considered whiteness. They need to destroy whiteness, or the nuclear family needs to be destroyed. It's subverting these pillars and institutions in order to cause division. Intersectionality as a sensibility for society. So that is where ideas or people meet and they have to diverge. So you cannot say a white person can speak on behalf of a black person.
Isn't that what a
Anti-race.
lot of people are doing right now anyway? Like a lot of those leftists and stuff like that, or those social justice
Mhm.
warriors. It's all a bunch of white people speaking on behalf of the black people or the black men,
Yeah.
whatever. And I don't care if they're sitting there trying to defend them or tell everybody that white people are racist and this is how you should be treating them, or they're not treating them. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Like they're literally telling
Yeah.
people.
Well, it's soft bigotry of low expectations. Minorities are too stupid to talk for themselves. So me being in a position of power, me and my whiteness, I need to atone for my sins, and I need to give give that thing up.
Yeah.
Or I not even necessarily I need to give that thing up. I need to speak on behalf of, because black people and other minorities, they're too stupid. So intersectionality is an analytical framework for understanding how aspects of a person's social and political identities combine to create different modes of discrimination and privilege. The term was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw in 1989. Intersectionality, multiple, yeah. So that can I guess I should clarify that, yeah, it has the ways that, well, according to this definition, well, whatever, I read the definition. So anti-racism as praxis. So that is actually putting anti-racism into practice, actually using it, not just a theory. And they rely on critical whiteness studies. So
What is that?
the thing is, whiteness
Critical
studies, like
whiteness
I,
studies.
so whiteness is seen as a negative. That's, if someone goes to work and does works hard, Michael Jordan, let's say Michael Jordan, someone who is black, they said because he achieved and he worked hard, well, he is he, he's not fuck should I say it? He has been influenced by whiteness because he wants to work hard to achieve something, as opposed to him being entitled to things because of his skin color. It's literally looking at things skin deep.
I have to say, I have never been okay with, nor have I ever found it right for somebody to be judged on the color of their skin. For somebody to be made felt or to be made to feel bad about themselves because of the color of their skin. Now, I really thought, especially in 2022, I thought way before this, but I would have figured we were moving past this, looking at people as equals,
You'd think
and
so.
now it's literally just I don't find it right to make anybody feel bad for the color of their skin. And yet I'm being made to feel bad because of the color of my skin. I don't think it's right for anybody to feel bad about the color of their skin that they were born with. that's not fair, nor is it right. And the fact that they are teaching these things now when we should be learning how to be one.
You would think, but that's the thing. They don't want that. They don't want that type of idea. So, all right. So okay. So from Ibrahim Kendi. Uh, so this is some of the stuff from this book, and I know I've brought this up before, but I do have to bring it up again. So his definition of racism is a marriage of racist policies and racist ideas that produce and normalizes racial inequities. Okay, first, Ibram X. Kendi, you cannot use the word to describe the word. You get like a feedback loop, like it's nonsensical. So his definition is a marriage of racist. Okay, racism or being racist is a marriage of racist is a marriage of racist is a marriage of racist. You see the feedback? You can't. You cannot use the word to describe something when you describe it. If I was to describe someone a house, it's like, well, it's like a house. It's a shelter that's your house. Okay, but you didn't describe it. Okay, so then we have to look at racial inequity. When two or more races are not standing on approximately equal footing. So the example that he used was 71% of white families lived in owner-occupied homes in 2014, compared to 45% Latinx. You even see in my notes that I was taking from reading his book, The Fuck. When I was looking back at my notes, I'm like, really? I put that in there? It's funny because even Latin people don't know what that term means. It means nothing. It's like something like 2 or 3% had actually identify as Latinx, which is supposed to be gender neutral. So again, it's white people telling minorities what they do and do not like.
Yep.
And all these people come from upper middle class homes. Okay, so 71% of white families lived in owner-occupied homes. Latin people, 45, and black families, 41. So that is seen as racial inequity. That is not equality. That is not saying you all have the same opportunity. It is saying we all need to be equal. So racial equity. So that first one was inequity. When two or more races are standing on a relatively equal footing. An example was relatively equatable percentages of all three racial groups living in owner-occupied homes in the 40s, 70s, or 90s. So they see, well, it is pretty self-explanatory. You got to cut the tall grass, baby. Oh, you're achieving more? Get the fuck down there. No, you're down here in the buckets with the crabs, motherfucker. No. Oh, you want to do great. Well, are you going to help your black and brown brethren? Huh? What about us? What about you? Get the fuck off your ass and do something. So, to continue with Ibram X. Kendi's stupid fucking ideas. And I say this because I absolutely detest actual racism. Not making a joke. And I don't care if people have like a good racist white joke, like, oh, well, you fucked your sister. Okay, well, it's a little overplayed and it's a little boring. Like, come up with something good. But there's no such thing as race neutral policies in their eyes, because you see, the world is constructed through the world of whiteness. That is the status quo that everything else is measured against. So if white people are doing good and anyone else is doing bad, there is inequity. The circular logic, I know. If you need to,
Okay, but
rewind, listen to it again.
Literally, wouldn't that be on anything? Okay, so if I go to China, sorry, the majority there that are going to be doing good and have their own homes and stuff like that are going to be Chinese people. And
Well,
the few white people that are there, it's going to be a lower thing. So
Well, you remember that short little stint where Asian people were seen as minorities, and then they said, "Oh, no, 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 hold on. No, they're way better than white people. What are we doing? No, they're riddled with whiteness." So what do you see happening? You see, there was just that video. Actually, I just got the news thing on my phone was just saying that black guy. Sorry, I know. But you know what? You have to call a spade a spade. You have to call out the issues, otherwise you're never going to solve them. Beat the fuck out of a 67-year-old Asian woman. Beat, punched, kicked the shit out of her 125 times. He was not a small man. He was a large man. Like, well, from the angle, mind you, she's a small old Asian lady, and he looked quite large, and he's just fucking beating the shit out of this old woman.
Why?
Well, apparently, for racial equity, everyone should be beating the shit out of everyone. But it's about 80% of black people are committing the crimes against Asian people. Because you have a world of victims. When you tell someone over and over and over again that it's not your fault that you're in poverty, it's the white man's fault. It's someone else's fault. You're a victim in this world, and there are people that believe it. So he sees an Asian lady and says, "You're the reason why my life fucking sucks." It's blaming others instead of introspective thought. Why does my life suck? Well, could it maybe be the welfare system that has encouraged more women to be single parents than any other time? Could it be the incentive of tax breaks for single mothers? You want to talk about actually destroying a community? The welfare system has done more to destroy minority families than anything a white man has ever done. I will promise you that the welfare system has done more to negatively impact the minorities in North America than anything white people have done, period. And this was to help. Look, the government's going to give you more money, but you need to be a single parent. So then you have you have welfare queens. Women that just keep getting pregnant because they get a fucking welfare check at the end of every month. And then they have 10 or 12 different baby daddies. I know it's an exaggeration, but you understand the point.
Yeah.
All right, so to continue on with Ibram X. Kendi. So a racist policy says exactly, a racist policy says exactly what the problem is and where the problem is. And I know I've talked about this before, but it needs reiterating. You need to understand this so that we can talk about Bill C-67. Racial policy also cuts to the core better of racism than racial discrimination. So his definition of racial discrimination is an immediate and visible manifestation of an underlying racial policy. Racial discrimination is a treatment considering or making a distinction in favor or against an individual on that person's race. So this is race-based laws. So, Kim, if you were dark-skinned and you came from a lower-income family, well, there should be laws in order to boost you up. Or maybe your community, your black community, your brown community, your East Indian community. I'm surprised East Indian people are not considered a minority group. I'm surprised they're not riddled with whiteness because East Indian people work hard. Korean people work fucking hard. It is astounding how hard they will work. And then you have people that do nothing and expect handouts.
Yeah.
That's called entitlement.
What I don't understand is that there should be, again, there should be equality. Like,
I understand that, but
no, I know.
We're talking about the ideology.
I know. But it's just like, who's to say that somebody of a different colored skin than me would be more deserving than me? Or who am I to say that I'm better deserving than somebody else of a different skin color? It should have nothing to
It doesn't
do with the
matter.
skin.
It doesn't,
Exactly.
no, I'm saying it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you think because you're white. You have attributes of whiteness. So, your opinion, you need to repent and you need to be an ally.
Yeah, so I need to
Your
just behave
opinion does
myself.
in there, yeah, it's original sin. It is a godless ideology. And it's funny because I don't believe in either one. I think religion is stupid and I think isn't it weird? I'm pretty consistent. I think any belief systems period are fucking stupid. That's just how I operate. I can see the flaws on both sides. I can see the damage both sides can do. And you're seeing this right now. So it doesn't matter what you think, Kim. They think that you have a position of privilege. So you don't think in terms of racism. You don't understand the system that you benefit from, even if you don't participate in it. So, and I know we have friends that deal with this type of stuff. They get told this type of stuff, even though they came from a communist country where their family and friends were murdered by their government. Okay, but so to continue. So, as treating, considering, or making a distinction in favor or against an individual based on that person's race, then racial discrimination is not inherently racist. The defining question is whether the discrimination is creating equity or inequity. If discrimination is creating equity, it is anti-racist. Remember that word. If it's creating inequity, then it is racist. So remember that if a discriminatory policy is creating equity, it is anti-racist. That's why racist and anti-racist do not mean the same thing. They don't, or I should say, they don't mean what you think they mean. So why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about this? Why am I, getting into this, giving a little more understanding with this? Well, in Ontario, the bill is called Racial Equity in Education Act. Racial equity. We just talked about it. We just gave it from the Marxists, from the communist ideologies themselves. Racist equity or racial equity. So let's read through this disgusting, discriminatory, racist, fucking disgusting racist bill that is in its second reading. Not first, second reading. It went through once. That should be terrifying to all of you. And there is unanimous support from the Conservatives to the NDP to the Liberal parties in Ontario. Unanimous support for this, except for two people. Two people said this is a terrible idea. If you have homogeneity from all of them, sorry, did I use a big word again? So if you have everyone thinking lockstep that this is a good idea, I think Mark Twain said it best. When your idea becomes the majority, you should rethink your position. Everyone except for two said this is a bad idea. Okay, so let's look at this. So the Ministry of Training, Colleges and Universities Act is amended to add a new section, 17.1, which sets out anti-racism and racial equity requirements that apply to every college of applied arts and technology in every university that receives ongoing operating funds from the government for the purposes of post-secondary education. This is the first amendment. They are saying it needs to be anti-racist. It needs to be discriminatory. Subsection 18 of the Ontario College of Teachers Act 1996 is amended by adding a requirement that a person successfully completes any prescribed examinations and training in anti-racism. in order to be issued a certificate of qualification and registration. This should be fucking terrifying. Amendments are also made in the regulation making authority of the Lieutenant Governor in Council. You need to go for anti-racist training before you will get your certification, before you will get your PhD, your doctorate, your master's in a field. Second reading. The next part, amendments to the Ontario Colleges of Applied Arts and Technology Act 2002, including adding anti-racist education and training to the education and training related activities a college may undertake in carrying out its objects. New Section 5.1 sets out that each college or subsidiary of a college shall develop and implement an anti-racism policy. Amendments are also made to the Act to provide that at least one member of the Board of Governors and one member of the Board of Directors of the Council shall have expertise in racial equity in the post-education sector, that all members must have proven commitment. You must commit yourself to racial equity or take anti-racism training. This is disgusting. This is fucking disgusting. I'm trying to make a joke. I'm trying to. Oh well, at least the Negroes will finally get a chance. This is disgusting. Did I lose you? Why are you so quiet?
I'm mad. I'm trying myself just to like, okay, well, I'll put in a joke somewhere in here.
The joke is, you think you have rights? You think we live in a democracy? No. This is a wonderful way to they're looking at implementing UBI. Was it Bill 267 in the, I think it's 267 or 233, 223. I don't remember off the top of my head. Universal basic income. Another socialist ideology where you are wholly dependent on the government, where, people complain. Let me say, I complain. I want less government intervention, not more. But laws are being pushed through where the government says what you do and what you say, well, we control that. We have Bill, was it C? The online censorship bill. Well, that was resurrected. That zombified fucking disgusting corpse is back alive, where they can control what you say online. So, do you still have freedoms? Honestly, I would love to hear people's opinions. Do you feel like you still have freedoms? Did I explain this good enough? Even though I did fuck it up quite a bit, but you know what? I'm not an expert. I am by no means an expert in this field at all. But the sniff test, if it doesn't smell right, if it doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. And if someone has to convince you of it, it's like NFTs. I have a friend of mine constantly, dude, this person has NFTs. They just bought this, and this is so super cool. And man, you need to get in on it. If I don't understand it, I'm not getting in on it. If it doesn't feel right, then it's probably not. Hey, there are people that make lots of money on NFTs and on Bitcoin. Sure. I'm not playing that game.
Okay, so your question is, do I feel like I have freedom? Or freedoms?
To anyone in the comments, I would love to hear seeing this type of stuff being rammed through.
My answer,
you're,
if you let me answer,
Sorry.
it's okay. Yes, I feel like I do have freedoms right now, not for long.
Yeah, and that's where, like this. I need to stress this. Anti-racism sounds wonderful until you understand what is being said. then it should be terrifying to every single one of you. The people that keep saying, well, they're not taking our rights away. Well, they sure showed what they can do to Russia. If you go against them, you will be removed from society. They did that with the trucking convoy. There were protesters. Again, Ottawa police said, well, no, they were very peaceful. Loud, but that's a protest.
Yeah, do you see the shit going on in Calgary now? That they actually
Which shit?
have, well, because they have like some of the Freedom Convoy and stuff like that going on there, right? And they
Mhm.
had like cops and stuff like that. I literally was watching cops line up with bicycles in their hand and they were forming like a wall. And there was a guy grabbing his bike and just like rammed it into somebody. And you see this girl like fall on her face. And the way that they were ramming people, I'm just like, oh my God. Like they're doing that in Calgary now. But you
Yeah.
just
Well,
don't really see too much about it because everybody's hyper focused on the Russia Ukraine thing right now that nobody's seeing what's happening still.
no. Well, and the media is not gonna promote this.
No.
But it's funny when it was the other side. This is why when I brought up the repressive tolerance on one side, they are given so much leniency, so much room, and they are excused. But on the other side, that must be squashed immediately.
Which is
Colin
absolutely
Kaepernick.
insane. It's literally saying you are not allowed to have a different idea. Everybody has to have the exact same thoughts, the exact same ideas. And if you don't, you're going to go down. And this, okay,
Oh, you will be under the boot.
yeah. And okay, no, there shouldn't be racism. People should not be racist towards one another, and there should be equality. But this anti-racist thing, uh, no,
And that's the thing. That's um
this is scary.
I understand that there is racism. There is. It happens, absolutely. To say racism doesn't happen, you are either ignorant. Well, I think it's fair to say you're ignorant if you think that it does not happen. But to say that it's like an epidemic, you had Colin Kaepernick saying that the NFL is the combine is similar to slave trade. The NFL, the highest level of football. Well, I shouldn't say highest level. One of the highest paid professions in North America. One of the highest paid professions in North America that you volunteer for. And he equated the combine where they put you through your rigors. Rigors, I said rigors. R. Two R's, not one. Just clarifying, I don't need the Arnold Schwarzenegger where he said the N word. But they test everything. Man, if I'm spending 50, 60, 70 million dollars on someone, I'm going to make sure that you are a right fit for the group. Weird. But now what are you seeing? Colin Kaepernick's shtick was, well, it's just like the slave trade. They treat you like cattle. And the funny thing is, the NFL is something like 80 or 90% of the players are black. It's honestly, as a white guy, and trust me, I played football. I played it for a few years, and we we're actually very fucking good. When a white guy makes it through, you go, holy shit, he must be really good. If he even stands a chance, because those black guys don't fuck around. They are incredible athletes. And you know what the funny thing is? That would be seen as racist. Mind you, to be fair, white people did have a hand in, making black people run really fucking fast. Right? You're welcome. You're welcome.
I mean,
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Ha ha. It's a joke.
well, it actually,
But
you
when you
saying that reminds me of that movie, The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. And they
Yeah.
had Nelly in it. And when he tried out for the for the football team, he was running and he literally ran out of his shoes. And Chris Rock made the comment that he's got slave feet. He's like, you see that? That
Oh,
boy ran right out of his shoes. That boy's got slave feet. Yeah. Loved it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Mind you, I was like 10, 12, I think, when that movie came out.
I love that movie. It's one of my favorites.
But when you see a white guy, when you see Tom Brady, or thing is, I don't follow football because you've seen the Black Lives Matter that they put on their helmets. You've seen all the ideology, and you've seen their ratings tank. You've seen it in the NBA too. Their ratings tanked because people aren't interested in it. They just want to enjoy it. They watch sports to get away from it. They don't go to watch it and say, hey, look at that Negro run. Look at that good slave. Yeah, make me money, slave boy.
Well, no, it's entertainment, and it's a way to escape things. You don't watch sports to get your politics and for people to tell you what to think. Like, you just, ugh.
But it's incredible. Colin Kaepernick was pushing the NFL is like slavery, which is weird because it's voluntary. You make a ton of money that everyone goes through. That's why I said, when you see like a Tom Brady, you go, well, for me personally, he must have to be really good if some black guy got passed over, so to speak. Like, because those black guys are amazing, amazing athletes.
Oh, yeah.
They're so strong. They're so big and so fast. You see the NFL players 20, 30 years ago. You see them now. Oh, God, there's linemen that are like 300 pounds, and they run like 100 meters in like 5 seconds. They're insanely fast.
Yeah.
Insanely fast and powerful. So for Tom Brady to make it through that, you go, you poor white little bastard, you little stick boy, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, seeing as how we've been kind of talking about slaves, and I just brought up The Longest Yard, and to anybody who hasn't seen The Longest Yard, it takes place in a prison. It was a prison football league, okay, which is actually based on a true story too. Anyway,
Joey Diaz was in that. Coco Diaz, baby.
Yes, he was. But,
he's such a funny guy.
So an interesting little factoid for you. Back in the day, what?
What's up, you cocksucker? That's my Joey Diaz. And I just raspy.
Yeah. Back in the day, oh my God, yeah, you totally threw me off there. So back in the day when they had talked about how they were going to end slave labor, okay, so they figured out a different way to do so. So, okay, they stopped people from being able to own slaves individually. But then they decided they had like housing, which was they'd put them in jail, right? So the thing is, black people could literally get thrown in jail for the dumbest shit, okay? So what they had done is they had actually concocted this idea where, okay, well, if they have people in jail, then they could just loan them out to people. And then people can, treat them how they want to be treated or treat them how they decide that they want to treat them and get chores and labor and stuff like that done. But
you mean like
they're not
Kamala Harris?
actually owning slaves, right? They're borrowing them from the jails. So in that turn, they ended up arresting a lot of black people for stupid shit. Like just, oh, you walked on the wrong side of the road. You go to jail. You know what I mean? Like just dumb stuff. So then they'd be housed there, and then they would loan them out to people. And they literally didn't care if the prisoners came back alive or not. Like you can just do whatever you wanted to them. They didn't care because, well, they were prisoners. So that was their way in getting around it because, well, they did something bad. They're prisoners. So now they got to work off their shit. So even when they tried or said that they were getting away from slave labor, they actually weren't. They just figured out a new way to do so, which was really, really messed up. It really is. But that's my factoid for you.
Well, and you see, like, you can look, like, if people think slavery is dead, look at what Kamala Harris did. She withheld information that would have exonerated someone from their prison sentence to keep them as slave labor. This is Kamala Harris. This isn't conspiracy.
Say what?
She kept people beyond their release dates. She would deny them bail, or not bail.
Parole?
What the fuck's the thing? Parole. Because so that they could be used as cheap labor to go fight fires. This is come on. Yeah, you know, people say, well, you know, it's the white man. Weird. It's an East Indian fucking black chick. One of the most hated people in North America. So when people say she's a bad person, it's not because of her skin color. I couldn't care less. I don't care what color. She could be fucking Barney the dinosaur. And I would still say this person they're not a good person. They violated the law. They violated people's rights. They used them as slave labor. So, and you think slave labor or slavery is dead? No, we call it human trafficking. That's all we've done.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's crazy to see. Colin Kaepernick, what is he doing? Oh, I would love to play football again. And he just got roasted because people were saying, well, I thought you said that it's like slavery. Oh, but I know. That's your shtick, right? That's your shtick.
I don't think any slaves were ever paid the amount of money that NFL football players are paid. My point exactly. They literally they paid with their lives. They didn't get millions of dollars. And literally, these football players can just, at the end of their contract, or they can, whatever, just be like, bye, and they can leave if it's that bad. But yet they keep renewing their contracts and keep going and going and going. So I'm sorry. This is 100% it's voluntary. Yeah, you're tied to a contract for a while. And yeah.
So was everyone else.
Yeah. Everybody's jobs really kind of suck once in a while. You know, like it doesn't matter what it is that you do. Everybody's job is going to suck. But come on, man. You get paid millions of dollars and then you're going to cry that it's like slave labor because they work you really hard. Well, yeah, you're their product. You're
I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
It's, you know, like in the military, you're not an individual. No. You are an arm of the state. You are the enforcement arm of the state. Sorry. I don't care about your internal politics and you know, as a military. They're not interested in that. You're there to do your job, shut the fuck up, and go home.
Yeah. And if you don't like it, then leave. Get out of it. If it's that bad for you, get out of it. And then don't pursue something like that. If you don't want to be literally at somebody else's hand, be somebody else's puppet, do not be an entertainer. Do not be an actor and an actress. Do not be a singer. Do not be a sports person. But just don't go to the army. Like, don't.
Well, what about all your political activism? And, oh, right. I know. It's the fact of, you know, I didn't get what I wanted. Well, I'm sorry, Colin Kaepernick. You got pulled because you fucking suck. Not by my standard, by every other quarterback you were compared to. You sucked. And then you said, well, that's because they're racist. Weird, because there's so many other people that have dark skin that are playing the NFL, or that play in the NFL, and they are incredible athletes. And you're going to sit and whine and complain that my oppression, I'm oppressed? Fuck you. Fuck you with a rusty poker.
The funny thing is if that was a white person, I don't care. They're literally on the exact same team. If it's a white person being like, oh, I'm being treated like a slave and poor me, people would be looking at him being like, shut the fuck up, white boy. You make millions of dollars. What the fuck are you complaining about?
No, I think actually they would say, how dare you compare the NFL Combine to slavery? You don't understand slavery. Yeah. They would say what we're saying to Colin Kaepernick and what everyone else is saying to Colin Kaepernick. Yeah. And all these other grifters, all the you know, Bubba Wallace. Oh, oh, I found there was a noose in my garage.
Oh, don't even
Weird,
get me
because it's
started.
been there for 3 months and it's in every other garage. But yeah, yeah,
Well, and not only that, like the thing is, technically, nobody has the right to sit there and say that I don't the color of your skin, that, oh, I know what slavery is like because I'm black. Well, guess what? I don't know what being a firefighter or being in the Navy is, like my grandfather.
yeah,
Like he was in there and he can tell me stories, and I'm sure you've heard horror stories about family members and stuff who were slaves. And yeah, you can have some input, but you don't actually know what it's like. I will never know what it was like for my grandfather being in a war or being a firefighter. Like, he is a hero to me. He really is. And a lot of those people who were slaves, I feel absolutely horrible for them. No person should ever be treated the way that they were treated. But
yeah.
nobody,
But we have
unless it
that.
was you, can say that you know what it was like and compare yourself to that. Like, how dare you?
Well, if you want to compare, things like redlining or the redistricting that they did, okay, yeah, I think it's fair that we can say that yes, that was wrong. So it's like a pissed off ex. Like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I did something mean to you. And then they come back and say, well, because you did something mean to me, I'm going to do something even worse to you so you can understand the pain that I had to live with. It's like that. You sound like a bitch. Honestly, you do. And imagine the baggage. Like, I'm sorry, you're a liability, a massive liability. I wouldn't sign that. I would not hire someone that is saying that, the transportation industry is slave labor. They expect us to work and they pay us this amount of money. Oh, it's like when they, during the cattle drives, and they would force the cowboys to go run across the open plains. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So first off, you're saying I'm racist. You're saying me, my company, the NFL is a company. You're saying the NFL itself is racist, is riddled with racism. Oh, it's just, and then you're gonna come back and say, hey, you need a quarterback? No, actually, you know what? We do need a quarterback, just not you.
Bye, Felicia.
We have tons of people that want to come and play for the NFL. Even bench warmers, the guys that are backups, like backups to the backups, that actually never see professional play. They're happier than shit to be there, because they're just looking for that opportunity to prove themselves that they deserve to be here. They deserve that money.
Yeah. Well, it's literally even like
And
I literally heard one of our kids say it multiple times that, oh, well, I'm treated like, or we're just slaves. Like, we're treated like slaves at school and stuff like that. And, you know, people treat us like slaves because we have to work and blah, blah, blah. Like, people are forcing us to work. And I'm like, shut up. Like, you don't even know. And you're in
yeah,
school. You got it easy. Wait until you're actually in the adult world. I'll trade you.
Hey, you want to see slavery? How about work for 80 hours every 2 weeks and you get $500? Go do that. Oh, speaking of working your ass off and not making any money, federal minimum wage is going up. Yay! So federal workers make more money, which is going to drive up the price of everything, because government government don't take that line down. But
See? And I'm not
that could
excited
be
about
something
this
for another day.
because you say that, and I hear cost of living is going up, and it already has. It's literally
But that's
skyrocketed.
federal.
Ugh.
That's for federal. That's not Canadian wide. That's not provincial minimum wage. That's just for federal employees.
Oh, because they need more?
Apparently. So, all right, let's get out of here. This is a lot of information, and I hope you're a little more informed. I hope we were able to make you smile, make you cry, maybe make you a little mad. Good. I want you to be mad. I want you to be passionate. I want you to be impassioned and actually speak up. Because I know some of you refuse to speak up. At what point? When it becomes law, well, it's happening in Ontario. It's already happened in New Brunswick. We have laws that actively discriminate against races, against people's skin color. Not diversity of thought, diversity of skin color. I think that's disgusting. It's an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment.
It is. Well,
And this is and to any CRT leftists, I am Aboriginal. So, oops.
yeah, you're white adjacent, remember?
Yeah, I know. Fucking embarrassment. What a waste of a life.
Well,
What a waste of a life. You know, you're the load your mom should have swallowed.
oh. Well, now that you
How
successfully made me angry.
about this? People that subscribe to this and think that you're altruistic and you're white knighting and you're savior. Why not just leave? Why are you here? Go away. We don't want you. We don't want your ideas. We don't want your ass backwards. We don't want the death of millions of people because you're too lazy. You're lazy. You're a lazy nobody that decides to do nothing. And you expect to get rewarded for it. Please go somewhere else. If you don't like it, everyone says it with a job. I say it over and over. If you don't like where you are, if you're not happy, then fuck off. Go somewhere where you're happy. Then leave. Let North America, let it be the disgusting white capitalist nations that just marginalize and racialize people. Okay, then let us do that. Go to the countries that have implemented your ideologies. Please, go away. We don't need you. You're a parasite on this world. You're a drain on resources. So why don't you go find the tallest building and see if you could Superman jump? Fucking something.
What I don't understand is that
Choke on a fucking Lego brick. I don't give a fuck.
what I don't understand is how people can sign on to that kind of ideology about the anti-racist and not realize how incredibly racist and divisive it is.
Oh, you think that they're ashamed by it? They say they're racist. The own teachers have said, I go to a picnic, like an outside picnic, and I see black people, and I go, and they say their internal thought is, oh shit, where are the white people? They are racist. They openly say, yes, I am racist.
Then why the hell are they speaking on behalf of somebody else? Why are they sitting here saying,
that racism,
racist, when they're really the racist ones? They're the ones that need the help.
No, you keep thinking anti-racist means against racism. It's not that. That's the problem.
I know, but that's how they spin it, though.
It's not. It's not. We just looked at the bill. The bill says, which sets out anti-racism and racial equity requirements. They say it right in the fucking law. It's not hidden anywhere. It's right, plain in your fucking face. They are seeking discriminatory laws. You need to have a certification that you are a fucking discriminatory, racist piece of shit. They don't hide it. It is out in the open. They even say belief that racism is ordinary and permanent in society. You need to be aware that you benefit from racism. They don't hide it. When you call them racist, they say, yes, I am. They're no different than the KKK, the Black Panthers, or any other type of fucking racist group. So you're just saying what they are. A white supremacist, you call them a racist, they would say, fuck yeah, I am. I hate those blacks. They should have went back to their country, or whatever stupid shit they say. Someone that isn't, if you called them racist, they would say, yeah, oh, no, I'm not. They would defend themselves. They, the CRT, the leftists, the Marxist ideology. They absolutely are. I know. Rational thought. Advance their ideas through narrative weaving stories and counter stories as opposed to logic and rational thought. It is not a rational thought. It is irrational. It is driven by emotion because they cannot think rationally. They cannot empathize. It's embarrassment. It's disgusting. And that this is going to potentially become a law. You think that this is going to get better? You really think with how the Liberal Party, how the PCs, how the progressive conservatives, how they supported this, how they're pushing and ramming this stuff through? More than happy. Anti-racist. I like it. Like, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible how blind people are to this.
Yeah. Anybody who doesn't know me, when I don't talk, I'm really mad.
All right. Well, we can keep going on. Again, of course, anything we talk about, well, the stuff that I had written down, but anything that we do, we have references. Of course, they're available at louderwithcrowder.com. You can check it out.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Of course, they will always be in the description. Always have them there. If not, of course, like the CRT type of stuff, kind of deconstructing it. James Lindsay is a fantastic. The New Discourses YouTube channel is a fantastic resource to understand this stuff. So I would encourage, if you want to learn more, please go and find this out for yourself. Go research it. Don't take my word for it. I'm an idiot. I don't know anything. I just remember a lot. And I'm willing to learn. That's it.
Okay. Well, anybody who stuck to the end, thank you. Anyone who's new here, hit the like button, subscribe. Well, everyone hit the like button. Come on, man. Give me a little thumbs up. Anyway, anywhere that we are available will be in the description box below. YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Anchor, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're there. Hope everyone's had a good week. This wasn't really a sexy hump day this week. No.
Oh,
And
if you like oppressing minorities, it's like, it's my one thing I love in this world is oppressing minorities.
Yeah.
Oppressing myself?
Oppressing anybody. It's just no. Okay, so
yeah.
Leave in the comment section below what your thoughts on all this bullshit is. Yeah. And also leave in the comments if you got as angry as I did. Because I got pretty freaking angry there. I know we were told before, or I was told from somebody that our facial expressions are quite funny. And in something like this, like I say everything on my face. I can't freaking hide it. Why are you freaking out up there?
This has to be a joke.
What?
This has to be a joke. Petrified COVID parent. This has to be a joke. My family has a separate washing machine to clean our face masks. This prevents the spread of Omicron to the rest of our laundry. We must remain vigilant. This has to be a joke. It has to be. Everyone's comment is like, now that they've removed the dots to stand 6 feet apart. This is on Twitter. Disappointed to read this. Environmental racism. That's another one that's being brought up in the House of Commons. We could save that for another time.
Yeah, I don't think my head can handle anymore. Like I'm ready to just like okay. Right? Just suck on it. Anyway. Have a great week. We'll catch you guys on Friday. Sorry if you got angry like I did. I don't know. Just Treat everyone with kindness. It doesn't matter the color of their freaking skin. Stop being so mean to one another. Just treat everyone as an equal and just stop. Okay? Stop. Anyway, bye guys. See you on Friday.